us a beautiful afternoon, Saturday. Wow, today is Monday. How are we? How has our day been going? Happy first day of the week. Yeah, I'm here with my humble self to do justice to today's topic, and which I've titled self evaluation. I'm just quickly going to send the link out so that everyone that is on air can just join and be part of today's conversation. I don't want to be lonely here. I don't want to be here alone. Well, as it see, this journey started 20 days ago. So, and for the fact that I'm still here this afternoon, I only told myself one thing. If there is anything I'm doing this for, one thing that I have understood with regards to how life functions is that you can never be separated from what you love. And that if you're ever going to be living a life, oh, thank you, Opeyemi, thank you, Ufoma, thank you very much. So today's title is self-audit, self-evaluation, self-assessment, any word you can put behind it. And why did I decide to go for this? I have looked at everything about how the world functions, how life functions. And if this important subject we're going to be taking this afternoon is not given priority in our lives, it's not given a place, we are going to be among those people that keep going through life like just being on a treadmill. How many of us have seen this big gigantic what have you equipment that you use for exercise? You know, you are on that treadmill and you keep moving, and you are in motion, but you are not leaving that space. And that is what self-audit is going to do for you and I. It's going to help us be able to assess, to be able to come to a place where be able to see ourselves in the true light of how well and how far we are fair in the affair of the world, of our life, and everything that has to do with our life. And so also you look at it in conglomerates, in companies, in big organizations all over the world. There is always a particular time of the year that every organization subjects themselves, subject their company to this what I've just enumerated. And what is the essence, and why do people go through this exercise? You know, when you have a company and organization that they have budgeted certain amount of money to do certain things, and once that money is budgeted out and every of those resources is committed to doing that function, going through that exercise, a time of the year comes when the organizers have to sit themselves down and truly see how well they have been able to do justice to every resources and to everything that they have been given to. And so you see, at the end of the year, you see companies like, just like we are around now, November, October, you begin to see companies going for audit. And some of the time when they do those things, they want to sit back and check how they have well done, how well they have fared, how well they have been able to do in the coming year, in the year, and how they can position themselves to be able to do better in the coming year. And the reason why I personally decide to do this is because in our lives too, we are sometimes oblivious of the fact that the same way we work in an organization and they ask us to write to audit our department, to put appraisals on all the works and the targets that we have been given, is because they can score us. And some of the time it is how well we're able to do that. The times, oh, this department is giving promotion, this person is going on this, because of how well we have been able to use all the resources that we have. And so these are some of the reasons why in our own life too, we need to particularly give attention to this thing. I want you to imagine going in a car, and when you are driving the car, a part of the tire is a bit flat. It's almost going. The valve is removed and it has a punch and air is already going. How can you describe how the car will be on the road? Can you just imagine it for a second? So you know the car cannot move well. It's going to be slant, and a part of this is going to budge. How it's not going to be balanced. This is the reason for this. When we go through self audit, when we perform evaluation on our lives, on our body, on any part of our, what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a plan, a picture, to be able to see what and where we have been able to do well, and where we are unable to do well, what is wrong. And then by doing that, we're able to see where we need more attention. And when we're able to do this, friends, one of the things that it does for us is that it helps us to be able to become better persons. Look at what I just made as an example about companies and organizations, top companies, and they go through retreat, and when they perform their audit and assessment and evaluation, they now begin to think ahead in the coming year. Oh, we didn't do well in this area. Oh, in advertising. Oh, in sales. Oh, in marketing. This is how fair we did. This is the sales. This is the outcome of all the outreaches we did. This, even churches, every one of us, we go through this same thing at one way or the other. But in our own personal life, how well do you take time to sit down and do this on your life? You perform this audit on yourself regularly to help you know how well you are faring in life. Because if we don't know, sometimes we get carried away with all the noises and all the distraction of life and of event of things, and we don't really know how well we are doing. Sometimes we just don't know that there is something happening around us, and what we're able to do with regards to what is happening around us in such a way that it doesn't get to affect what is inside of us is how it's going to tell on how best we're able to move on. And today I want to open our eyes to certain areas of our life. Like, I'm going to be sharing with us 6 areas of our lives that we need to constantly and regularly audit ourselves and to see. And there is one map that I have with one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, that he mentioned. He called it the map gap, the gap map. So in that wheel of life that he created, he was trying to locate and showcase how you can locate wherever you are. When you are going to a place and you need a compass, a navigation, and the only way you can get to that destination, you are able to know where you are at now. That will be able to tell you all what you need and the distance you need to cover and everything that you need to be able to get into where you have decided you are going to. And so you can look at your life and everything that is happening to you now at the moment. Do you know where you're going to in life? Do you have an expectation where your life is going to end in 10 years, in 5 years from now? A lot of us as believers or as people of faith, we kind of always believe that, oh, it's going to be okay. Somehow in the future, things are going to balance, everything will be okay. And we always believe that that is how it's going to be. But friends, do you know that in real life, nobody goes through life the same way we are trying to do? When you go to companies, they subject their systems, all the frameworks with which they perform, they subject it to audit. They try it. They want to see, did we really do well in this area? They are not living so it will just happen. It's nothing like that happens. In fact, when we live our times to chances, our life to chances, that thing will just happen somehow. We become victims of life. We become object of their relation. And sometimes when this happens to us, and we begin to see other people leaving us ahead and leaving us behind, we engage ourselves in envy, self-talk, and we begin to blame other people for where we are. Whereas when we are able to sit ourselves down and do this audit on our lives, on our every day-to-day life, you are able to know where you are failing, and you're able to know where you need help, and you're able to know what you need to do to get the needed help that will push you into the next phase where you'll be so happy with your life. Because I tell you, friends, there is nothing in life that gives you fulfillment, that gives you hope, that gives life to your body when you are not progressing. And one of the things that fuels our vibrancy and energy and momentum to want to continue to show up in life is when we begin to see areas of our life that we are making effort, we are progressing. And that is why when you audit yourself, you're able to tell yourself, oh, I'm doing well in this area. This is where I need help, and this is what I need help to do. And so I'm going to be asking us, so that we don't have bumps in our journey to life we live in. How well do you see yourself connecting with your innermost core? Sometimes people call it nature. Some of people call it any name. But whenever it has to do with you, a time of sober reflection, a time of you really, really being your real self, do you have time whereby you connect personally and you listen, a place and a portion where you are still, where you are quiet, you are silent, and where you are able to balance a state of quietness where you can connect your. Do you know why this is important? The world has never been this distracted that we are in this world we are living to. And no thanks to social media, the good side of the social media we are using now, but the other side of it, that it creates so many distractions for us, and sometimes it keep us and keep us in a state where we begin to look at our life and we don't see anything good for us to wish and desire. And but when you're able to shut yourself out of the noise around you, and you're able to enclose yourself internally, you are able to hear your innermost voice. You hear voice, ideas come to you. You will be able to see. And when we perform audit, some of the time, most of the best time you do this is when you're alone, when there is no distraction, when nobody is pushing you, and when there is no agenda and there's no priority on you to just want to perform or put pressure on yourself just to prove a point. When you sit down, you will begin to see how the innermost voice that is inside of it has been speaking, but you have not just been able to pick the frequency because of all the external distraction. It's time for you to sit down and look, how well have you connected to your being? How well have you been able to connect to knowing what your vision, what your purpose, what your calling is in life? Because attached to everything that you have been wired up with is your long life fulfillment and joy. And that is why there is no amount of money that you can have today. And when I say that, I want you to imagine for a second any celebrity you have ever witnessed that you've had, he or she committed suicide in the time past. That will make you and I to know that everything about life is not only about money. There is a depth, there is a place you get to in life that it is no longer money that is driving you. That you look at money and money loses its relevance, but you are still searching for something that will fulfill you, and you're unable until you're able to locate that thing. Everything about life just looks meaningless. And that is why when you connect with your being, you will begin to know what are those things that gives you peace, what are those things that just bring joy naturally to you. Some of you might just be just love to cook, you just love to decorate, you just live in a house, you can turn a house around, you can turn a place, you are just so beauty oriented. If they leave you with anything, you can turn it to a masterpiece. You know, you begin to know some of those little things that you do. You just love to bring smiles to people. You just love to encourage. You just love to smile. And with just people looking at your smile, they get encouraged about life. They believe more that something good can come out of your life. That is it, friends. And this is beyond what money can give. So it behoves on us to begin to see what are those things that really give meaning to myself, that gives fulfillment to me, that turns me on, that gives me glow, that brings the energy inside of me without me taking anything to high myself up or what have you. So when you begin to look at those things, it helps you. Another thing is relationship. That's another audit. You need to look at your relationship with your families, with your friends. How well are you doing? A lot of us in this area, I need to let you know that some of us have not done well. How do I mean? When you look at your life, and when I talk about relationship with friends, there are some of us that we don't really appreciate the fact that some friends are in our family and in our life for a particular reason. And when we lose focus of why people are in our lives, that is when we begin to get ourselves into trouble. Look at you now. For every one of us that has a job at the moment that you go to, there are some people in your space of friends that the only reason why you are friends is because they are your colleague at work. And you know that those people, anytime by virtue of reason why you change job or you are no more in that place, that circle of friendship begins to dwindle. Look at it. So some of us that are nursing mothers, maybe there are some people that you got pregnant at the same time, you attend antenatal, you go to clinic, the same venue. Oh, you know, that is just the reason why you guys are close. And because of that area, you have something in common that can make you relate as friends. That also is possible. To some of us, some of our friends might be because of where we locate or from our space of origin. Like today is a special day in my life. 4 years ago, I did the migration into this state, and I can imagine some of the people that I have been able to have as friends, as neighbor, as colleague now, just because of the little space I've been able to migrate it. And this is why I want you to know. Now, when you now begin to force somebody whose role in your life is just for a reason, just a particular moment and season, and you want to force them to become friends by force, then we begin to have heartbreak, we begin to experience so many things that will make our life look as if, oh, that person hurt me. No, the reason why you got that hurt is because you never realized that the space, their time is over, the moment for the friendship is ended. And when you fail to take yourself the truth about that thing, you hurt yourself the more. So you must recognize roles. And then some of us too, we have friends that they are the helpers, they are people that are assignment to your life that you are going to help. When you see them around you, what do? You nurture them, you give them time. Some of us will just look at them, oh, I don't even know what this person is looking for, his swallow is too much, I don't want. Please, if the person comes again, lock the door, don't tell him I'm not home. But when you don't know why the person is in your life, you don't tend to give attention and that part of your life that you need to give to the person. So when we know this thing, you are able to pay more attention. To some of us, we are just particularly focused that because this is what you want in life, you forget every area of your life. You forget your family, you don't call friends. Or some of us, because of a little promotion we have gotten, you now begin to neglect people that have been instrumental to where you are in the time past. You stop calling them, you stop reaching out to them, you feel they are no more important to your life. Friends, I need to help. If there's anything I need to do at this moment, please remember them. Make it a duty, because it is lonely at the top. By the time you get to the top and you leave all these people, you will know the reason why you need to pay attention to relationship. That you never, for any reason, with regards to whatever status you get to in life, forget people and treat people with negligence, because you don't know. Only time can reveal what tomorrow will be. And when you will now begin to need those people that you are already negating and thinking they are not anything in any way close to what you're supposed to close to. So I want to encourage you in that area of relationship. I want you to take time to audit your relationship. Look at your friends circle, look at your family. Do you, because you are now here, there are some people that once they get to the state, they forget everything. They don't call, they don't relate, they don't chat. Hi, Sunday is my day. I always make it as a duty to remember people at home, to call, to relate. This is important, and I want you to make time for it, because you don't know who is going to be needing and who you will be needing. That is very, very key. And another area I want us to look at is the area of our finance. You have to audit yourself, audit your finance. And when I say it is important to audit our financial life, do you know the reason why? So I want you to look at this scenario. Like, I want to read out what I have here. You know, progress is only possible when you are detailed about where you are. And why I talk about the finance issue is because some of us, when you look at the world today, so many things is challenging our world, so many areas of our life that is not balanced. You want to look at how well have you been managing your funding, how well, what you take home, every gift, every resources you have, how do you spend it? How do you spend it? On what do you spend it? And when you look at yourself, what are the things that you are wasting your resources on that are not really, really important? Because if you don't take care of that, you will definitely have looked at yourself. So many times money have passed into our hands. We will be surprised if we are shown how much have entered into our hands. Some of us will not believe it. But the truth is that we are not good managers. Some of us, we are slaves to our friends, to society. We don't know where to say no. We don't know when to say yes. Oh, it is good to be kind. It is good to be generous. But do you know that there is a dividing line with regards to this proverb that in my homeland they tell Olowo kan láàrin òtòṣì is the next. That if in a sphere of friends you are the only rich person, it is a question of time you are going to be the next poor person. Why? When you look at how much you make, if you don't know how to partition what you make, and you are unable to do justice to how you plan your income, you will discover that anybody can come at any random time and they can lay assets, they can lay claim, and they can come with pity and cry and what have you to ask you to give them this, and you will just do. And to some of us, if you don't give, it is not because you are not so good, and it's not because you are trying to be mean. Sometimes, friends, you need to be tough on yourself with regards to your finances. If you are making $100 a month and you are able to save 30% of that money, let's say 10% you save it on your vision or your dream, 10% you save it as tax, they are going to take it. The other 10% is for gift, is for giving, is for anything that comes around, what have you. And maybe the 70% is house to do for the housekeep, for family, for taking care of you. Now, if you have 1% to give for your anybody that needs help, for assistance, and when you finish spending that, and somebody else now come to ask you for a need, do you know that it is not wrong for you to say no? If you have already exhausted the 1% you have given out, if you have been able to give out as gift, as help, as to anybody. The reason why I'm saying this is because when we don't know how to say no with regards to when people keep coming to us to ask for things, you will discover that you will not know how your finances will go. And the money you don't invest, that money does not grow. And until you learn how to invest your money will not grow. So that is why saving is important. As good as giving is important, you must also learn to save. And every of your saving, you must know how you invest it so that you can get the best out of it. So it is high time to look at what are those things we are spending money on that are not really important. They are not important things. What are those things you can do without? What are those things you just want to do just to be people pleaser, just to remain in the carcass of people, just to know that you are also among you? Many of us will spend to impress. It's high time you sit yourself down and look at those areas of your life that the only reason why you are buying this clothes. Look at everything in your life, in your home, in your wardrobe, everything you have used your money to gather. How well have you used this thing? And when you're about to spend money again, you ask yourself this question: if I don't spend this money, will I die? If I don't buy this shoe, what will happen? If I don't spend money on this, can you just tell yourself what will? And if you will not die, if you don't buy that thing, friends, please keep that money and use it for something good. That is part of the way you can help yourself in doing the right audit. And if you are scoring yourself, I want you to score yourself in all these areas that I've mentioned and see how well. 1, totally poor. 10, okay. So if you are seeing yourself in 5, in 6, and you are doing okay, then you can know how more energy you need to put forth to be able to become. Then the next one is on your health. A lot of us, we don't believe that it is important to take care of our body. Our health is important. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the definition of what health is, by that time when we were in school, it says health is a state, is a mental, physical, and emotional well-being. The state whereby you are mentally, emotionally, and physically fit. So if you look at these 3 aspects of health, if you are not fit, if you are not doing well, you have to ask yourself, how well am I doing? Do I eat healthy? Do I do workout? How fit is my body? A lot of us say, no, if I eat anyhow, don't worry, I will lose it anyhow. I will just go and no. Your body is the vehicle you need to go through life. And if you don't have health, a good health, you cannot fulfill any purpose, you cannot fulfill any vision, you cannot do anything with regards to life. So you have to begin to see the reason why you must prioritize your health. And you must see why your mental health, your mental state is also important. If you look at the statistics that is out there here in the state of how people are losing their mental state, no thanks to COVID and all the things that have happened between the space of last year and now, so many people cannot even imagine because of all the events. Some people have lost their job, they've lost their loved one, they've lost their family. So many people have lost hope to even, some people are even every day they are contemplating suicide. They are contemplating suicide because they have just sat down and their health and their mind could not fathom how they can see the end of what has happened to them. And friends, if you are in that state and you're always constantly thinking of regret, a thought of why is this happening? Why is life treating me like this? Oh, I don't think life has anything to offer to me than to end it. I encourage you to seek help. I encourage you to look for somebody to speak to. It is in reaching out you will find help. Don't die in silence. I want you to believe that everything that is happening to you in life, life is happening for us and not to us. See it as something that life is putting in your hand to rebrand, to remold, to bring about a beautiful scene. I have looked at myself, a time in my life too that I looked at myself. I said, if I die today, I will go to heaven. Let me end my life. Because I just felt all my friends and equals and contemporaries, they have left me behind. You can imagine 7 years behind. But today, I thank God that I did not end my life. If not, I would not be here today sharing with you friends and talking together on this call. So I want to encourage you, if you have not been taking care of your health, it's high time you prioritize your health. Eat healthy. Take time to work out. Take time to take regular checkup. Go for checkup. Don't just say I'm okay, I'm okay. There's so many people that they don't do regular checkup, and by the time the thing is already gone far in their life, they are no more. So that will not be a portion. That will be not be your portion. So another thing I also want to talk about with regards to this life is regarding to your work and career. A lot of us are stuck in our job at the moment that we are supposed to have moved on. Some of us will refuse to move at the time we need to move, and that's why we are still stuck. Some of us will see opportunities whereby we could have advanced in our career, maybe to have just gone to do one short certification or one short. Some of us do what? We just say, I don't know. Later, I will think about it. I will try it later. And because of that, when a time comes for when the opportunity arrive for people to be promoted, you are unable to move. Why? Because you did not prioritize the time. So also it is important for you to begin to see yourself how well in your work, in your career, in your vision for your life. Where are you? What are you doing to improve yourself personally in that your job? If you are in a 9 to 5 job, what steps are you taking to help yourself to grow your skill, to become person, to add to your skill that can make you become more valuable, so that your boss can think of increasing your salary, or so that you can fire your boss and start your own company and start your own business? Because I tell you, as long as you remain in that place, you don't have a right to dictate what you take. Only your boss, because he's the owner of the company, is the one that dictates how much you take home. But when you take time after your 9 to 5 to develop a skill, to look for what you can do to add value to yourself, you can design your life in such a way that says 2 years from now, I can fire my boss, I can start my own business, I can start my own career, I can replenish, I can rebrand my life, and this is what I want to start doing. And you will begin to see how that will begin to come in shape and in face. So take time to audit your health and your physical body. Take time, create time for relationship, spiritually, family, friends, and loved one. Create time to bond. Create time to show love. Create time to call people. Don't just say they don't matter. Don't just feel they are nobody. Also, your spirituality. How well are you able to connect with your core? How well do you seek that time of quietness, that moment of peace and calmness, whereby you can able to quiet every noise around you and you're able to hear ideas coming into your heart, thoughts, revelation? Because some of us, when you look at some of the people that are really, really creative, and so I'm very creative in their life, most of them will tell you most of the most moments whereby they get such idea is when they are alone, when they're able to think on their own, on themselves, and they begin to connect with ideas and thoughts that will make their world something else. And also another area is fun and recreation. As trivial that might be, we need to create time to unbond. A lot of us, we have not traveled out of the shore. We have maybe for the past 1 year. We have let's remove COVID or what have you. I don't even mean whether you are traveling out of your country or out of your state or whether. Just making time to just leave your environment. Oh, every day when you show up, this is where you go. You only go from work to home, from home to work, and you don't have anything called social life. It is time also to give time to look at what are those things you can do as fun, as recreation, to really spice up your life, to get you to unbond away from normal work life ethic, and to have something else you can. Somewhere you can do, okay, every 2 weeks you go out for a dinner with your family, or you go to a place or a social place to connect with people, to meet, to network, to do something. They are also important. How well are you doing in that area? I want you to score yourself too and see how well you are contributing. And then the next one, which is the last one that I'm talking about, is your personal development. How well are you paying attention to develop yourself personally? How well contribution are you giving to your life? Because if you are not giving, you are going to become, a small, shallow river that does not go. When you come back to that place, how do you see it? It smells. That river, because it's enclosed, it's not giving out, it's not moving out, it's everything is just in this space. So the same thing with you and I want you to look at your life and see Of everything you have been given, how well have you been able to give out? If you have not been contributing,